Hello, and welcome to another episode of It's Mia's World. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good today? Y'all got your little beverageino. I'm not addicted to coffee. I probably only drink coffee like 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week. And I don't have a coffee maker here because I know I can't be trusted. But let's get into it. So, we are officially done with the life episodes. I've talked about my journey, I've talked about how I've got here, but now let's do deep cuts, okay? We're going to talk about the inner work portion. Hopefully, I don't cry at all, but there will be some videos of me crying. Why? Because let's be real, we're honest at Big Little Mia. Y'all need to be more honest with yourselves, but we won't get into that. But before we get into our inner work episode of the day, let's talk about our fit of the day. What am I giving? I'm honestly giving a whole bunch of nothing today. But to be honest, when I have on like the sweater and leggings, like this is a bitch who gets shit done. You know what I mean? Like she might have went to Pilates at a 7:30 a.m. class. She might have a call at 9. Like this is a girl who gets it together. I've already woken up, I've done content, I've checked emails, I've gone on my morning walk, I got my morning coffee. So I'm giving a bitch who gets it done. And today, on a Monday, I'm getting it done. Honestly, unpopular opinion, I love a Monday. I really do. Because I've built my life so I don't really have Sunday scaries that much anymore. I'm not going into an office. My living room's my office. My bedroom's my office. My house is my office. I still haven't finished building my office in my apartment, but that's another story for another day. But Mondays feel together. They feel like, okay, you got this. You got this, you know? So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about who I was versus who I was becoming. And I think it's very important to talk about that because, as I have mentioned throughout my videos, you always have to assess where you are in this journey. Also, too, let me turn. I need to turn my ringer off because I'm hearing my text. I'm hearing my text. I'm hearing my texts. But you have to really look at who you were versus who you want to be, because those are very different people. Who I wanted to be at 20, 21, 22, 23 is very different than who I am and who I want to be at 33. I mean, if you would have told little Mia or younger Mia or teenage Mia or early 20s Mia like where I would be, I'd be like, what you talking about, Willis? You know, like what, like it's such a vast difference. So let's go. Honestly, we can go back to like high school, to be honest. Like that's how far. No. Let's just talk about like my overall dream and my overall thoughts for my life. And my friends now, I've said this before, they always laugh at me. They're always like, what are you talking about? I thought that I was going to be like a mom and a wife and a stay-at-home mother and wife. I thought I was going to have 2 kids. I thought I was going to have a business husband. I really thought I was going to be a Tuscan mom, you know? I really did. That was just my dream. I knew I wanted to have some sort of career, but I just was like, I'm just gonna be a mom and have kids. And it's very crazy because I grew up in a pretty career-oriented world, so I don't really understand where I got that rationale from. But it's partially because I don't like to work. I can be honest with y'all, but who really likes to work? My dad always says, if it was fun, it wouldn't be called work. Hot mic from Eric. I honestly say a lot of things that my dad has told me in this lifetime. I really do. So I guess I was listening. Barely. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have a big single family home and have some kids and have a husband and that's it. And I think probably probably around like high school, I was like, okay, I can do that, but I probably have to find some sort of passion or some sort of career. So I was like, okay, fashion. And then because I love clothes and dressing and all of those things. And then I kind of realized shortly, I was like, no, girl, you just like to shop and spend money because you a Libra. I got in that fashion world. I said, nope. No, because I'm gonna curse some of y'all out. I was in one fashion show and I knew I would never be in the fashion world and a model because the way that I had to hide in the corner and eat Doritos have to be studied. Also, too, I'm already frail. So it's not like I was going to gain some weight. It was too much, y'all. It was too much. I said, ooh, y'all are too toxic. I can't eat no Doritos. I don't want to be anywhere I can't eat. I'm sorry. If I can't eat, those are not the spaces for me. I'm hungry. As I've mentioned, I'm a hungry girl. And then I thought once I stopped studying fashion, I was like, okay, well, what do I like to do? And in college, I ended up working for the Girl Scouts one summer. I got fired. I was interning for the Cleveland Indians, worst internship ever. And I got fired because I forgot that I had an exam that day and I had to take it. And then my boss counted me for a no-show. I don't know. She was an op, to be honest. She just like never liked me. And I'm like, well, I don't like you either. I always have some hating bosses. I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm fabulous and you're not. Like, I'm sorry that you never got picked for dodgeball. That's not my problem. It really is not my issue, girl. Man. But then I started working at a camp. I worked at a Girl Scout camp. And from there, I really realized that helping people was my passion, specifically children, because children don't know no better. Now, when it comes to adults, but children, yes. So I quickly realized that helping children was my passion. So then I worked for Girl Scouts and then I interned at Make-A-Wish, and then that kind of set off my whole nonprofit career. And then from there, I was like, okay, I can make a career out of helping people, specifically children. This is great. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I want to help people. And also, too, I saw it as, okay, I could balance this and a family and not lose my mind, essentially. So by the time I was, again, 22, 23, I was like, okay, this is my life path. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a man. I already have a nonprofit, and boom, like, that's it. Like, genuinely, that's as big as I thought and dreamed at that point in my life. And looking back, it's honestly comical. It really is comical. And another tip that I would like to say is don't put yourself in a box. Don't, because I just think you'll regret it. I mean, I've seen so many people who limited themselves, and then later on in their lives, they're like, dag, maybe I should have or could have done something, or they had a dream that they never approached or executed, you know? So don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in a box. But I put myself in a box. And in another video, I will talk about relationships, because I do, looking back at 33, relationships defined a lot of my life and really changed the trajectory of a lot of things that I was doing. But in that case, I was like, okay, it allows me to have a relationship. It allows me to have some sort of career. Like, this is great. But the more that I got into my career path, the more that I just realized that I wanted more. And it's okay to want more. It's okay to have one dream and realize that that's not your dream, and then have another dream, and then pursue another thing. At 33, I feel like I have lived 17 lives, genuinely. And I feel like my life is just starting. Like, I'm just starting on this content creation journey. At 33, you know, you can do anything and be anything. And if you see something that you potentially would like to do, pursue it. Now, there is a caveat. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, there is a caveat, okay? There are certain careers that do have time limits. Like being an athlete. I'm just saying. Not everybody's getting drafted, okay? So you have to Just saying. But other than that, you can pursue anything. You can be an artist at any age. You can go to law school at any age. And honestly, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think I would have really sat down and looked at who I was and who I wanted to be. Once I found the nonprofit trajectory, I was like, this is my life, gang. Even though nonprofit is hell. It's hell. It really is. It's hell. Okay? People are like banking, sales, fashion, entertainment, nonprofit. Nonprofit. It's hell. But it was a hell that I was committed to and still am, but kind of in my own way. But I was like, this is all I'm doing. This is all I'm going to be. It's okay. I like who I am. I, again, was limiting myself. I was putting myself in a box. I was like, I want to maybe run a nonprofit or run a fundraising or development department, which both of those things I have accomplished in my life, and I'm proud of myself. But there is no way in hell that I want to do that for the rest of my life. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. So if you get into your dream position and your dream role and you decide that, like, I don't know, you want to yourself in it, that's okay. That's okay. Okay? It's okay to become somebody else. It's okay to not want to be what you once wanted to be. I also said I wanted to be a stay-at-home wife, and I tried stay-at-home girlfriend life for 2 seconds. The highlight of my day was waiting for that man to come home. Oh, Jesus. I had a part-time job. I was in Philadelphia. I had a part-time job, and my ex was like, let's try this out, and you don't have to work. Like, and I was like, no, I'm gonna work a little bit. He was like, okay, well, like, you could just do this and it's fine, and I can support this. And I was like, okay, this is great. Yeah, this is awesome. Hell. HE double hockey sticks. I would do my little work for the day, and then I was like, okay, this is it. Unless I go to a coffee shop or a workout class, this is it. And then I would like start dinner at like 3:30. I got through all seasons of Shaw's Sunset. And then I was like, what do you do now? Like, what? Like, what do you do? What do you do? And I quickly, like literally, I was planning my meal by 2:30. I was like, okay, I guess I'll start cooking dinner. And then that man walked through the door, and then we cuddled for the rest of the night, and then we did the same thing. Or like we went to dinner, and then we did the same. Like, ain't no way I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, y'all. I couldn't do it. And he was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm going to off myself. I couldn't do, like, I was like, oh my God, I wanted this for the rest of my life. Like, I have no purpose. Like, I understand why people feel like then they have to have kids, because like, what do you do all day besides surrounding your life around that man calling you or making him meals? I would like pack his lunch. And he was happy as a chipper. He was living his best life. And I was like, yeah, because you leave the house and you go to work and you have purpose. And granted, yes, I still had a part-time job, but again, that was a dream that I thought that I wanted. And then I started to fulfill it. And I didn't want that anymore. I did not want that. So then I looked at what I really wanted. When I was in Phoenix, I was living in Phoenix, and I did have a job, but like for the most part, I was like an entrepreneur, and I was working with local businesses, and I had my childhood friends, and like I had a community, and I was like, but this is it? Like, this is it? This is all that I'm gonna do. This is it forever. I'm just gonna go to everybody baby showers or housewarming parties or networking events. Like, I just realized those were all not things that I wanted to do, even though for so long I was like, that's all I want to be. That's all I want to do. And that's why you have to try. That's why you have to try as much as possible, because it might not be what you wanted. It's just like, I don't know, sometimes when you're thinking about what you want to eat, and you're like, okay, I definitely want this. And then you kind of get and you're like, I don't want that. It sounded good. In theory, it sounded good. Or let's say you want to like live somewhere, you want to vacation somewhere, and you might go there and you're like, oof, that sounded good. The idea of going there sounded good, but then once you did it, it felt like hell. My mom's calling me. I'll call her right back. Anyway, you're allowed to change who you want to be. I have changed who I've wanted to be so many times, and I just want to thank myself. Who said that? I don't know who said that, but I just want to thank myself, because if I didn't pursue my dreams and realize that that's not a dream that I wanted to pursue, I would never be who I am now. If I would have just stopped at one dream or one thought, I would have never made it to this place in my life. So for anybody who's going through a period of transition or pivoting, just because you had a dream at some point doesn't mean that has to be your only dream. How many times have we heard stories about entrepreneurs who had one career and went to another? I mean, I watched a podcast about Dr. Phil's family. Dr. Phil was like a lawyer, and now he's Dr. Phil. You know what I mean? Like, he never saw himself being Dr. Phil, but he got an opportunity and became Dr. Phil. Now, how y'all feel about Dr. Phil, that's a whole other thing. But you get what I'm saying? Like, we're all allowed to shift. We're all allowed to change. We're all allowed to be different than who we expected to be, you know? And I will say it's a little different if maybe like you have a family or like you're married, you know, that is a whole other ball game, and hopefully your life can evolve with you. Again, I've seen a lot of stories of entrepreneurs who, you know, opened a business later on in their lives. Vera Wang didn't become Vera Wang until her 40s. You know what I mean? Ina Garten didn't become Ina Garten until her 30s, but thankfully she had a partner that grew with her, allowed her to become who she really was supposed to be, which we'll get into depth in relationships. The relationship video will be the next video. That'll be because I have a lot of things to say about my relationships, and truthfully, I know a lot of people in my life are nosy and they want to know. So why not bring it to the big screen? Why not? Because life is a journey, and we all need help. We all need people to look to. We all need success stories to hear from, failure stories to hear from. We all need help. We're supposed to be a community. We're supposed to be a village. We were never supposed to be these one-offs. And in my journey of becoming, I recognized that. I recognized that your village helps you become. Your village plays a vital role in who you are or who you aren't. So another tip is always make sure you are looking at who surrounds you. And I'm not even talking about environment. I'm talking about village. I'm talking about your close friends. I'm talking about your family members. Are they encouraging your growth, or are they limiting your growth? I am very thankful and blessed that my village usually has been supporting who I am becoming. They've noticed when I'm not happy, and they've helped me along the way, but not everybody has that. Not everybody has a village of people who are gonna say, hey, yeah, pursue that dream. There's a lot of people in the world who have a village that tells them not to, that instills fear in them, that encourages stagnant behavior, and I feel so sad. And if that is your scenario, come to Big Little Mia. I'll encourage you. I'll support you, as long as it kind of like makes sense. Because like if you want to be a stripper, I'm gonna be like, maybe let's not do that. Now, I'm not throwing shade at strippers, because I just did a pole dancing class, and baby, I couldn't get up that pole.
That's what I should be doing.
Baby, I was sliding, and not in a good way, okay? But if you are somebody who doesn't have people in your corner telling you to write that book or take that trip or go back to school, like I said, come over here. Come to Big Little Mia. That's the whole purpose of me creating this channel, to be honest, to help others understand that, number one, they're not alone, and number two, follow your dreams. Become the person that you see in your dreams. We all see a type of person in our dreams. Become that person. I want you to become that person for you, because I'm becoming that person for me. And not everybody gets that encouragement, especially from their partners. So thank you so much for coming to another episode of Big Little Mia. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Right now we're in the inner work series. There will be some breaks in the midst of the inner work series because I'm back on my travel grind for the rest of the year, y'all. Back on my travel grind. Hey, I haven't been on a plane in 5 months. I understand that I am very, very, very blessed to go on a plane multiple times a year, travel multiple times a year. I recognize that. I am not taking that for granted whatsoever. But it's time for me to be back on a plane. I need to be on a flight. I need to be on a beach. I need to be out here, okay? Love my apartment, love my life, but it's time to. I need to be jet setting. A wise woman once said that bitches have to wait till their birthday to go out of town ill. You don't have to wait till your birthday. Okay, bye.